I don't know what to do about that. Yeah, so that happened. They say if you fish long enough that something like that's going to happen. Apparently, 46, almost 46 years is my was my expiration date. Was my date on that. So, been fishing my entire life. I had an incident once when I think I was maybe a senior in high school. I might have been in college when I um, got a hook past the barb right at my thumb knuckle. I still have a little bit of a scar there. It was not too deep though. I was able actually, honestly, I took a little pocket knife. I cut my skin and flesh just a little bit. Did a little pawn side surgery and popped it out of there. It wasn't too much. It was just under there a little bit. But this was buried. It was all the way down in my meaty tissue there on my thumb, as you could see in the picture. And um, yeah, it was surprising. I I've had close calls. I've had a lot of close calls, especially with things like Northern in this video. But this was the first time I got one buried. And really, when things like that happen, um, I've watched a lot of videos because I've been prepared, knowing it's going to happen someday. And honestly, there's about three things, other than like actual legit surgery to get taken care of. There's three things. One, which I have never done before, watched a lot of videos, did not feel comfortable trying. Nope, another Northern. Is the string trick. So if you have seen videos on that, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, you use some fishing line and you wrap it around the hook in a couple different places and pull and pray, and you rip that sucker right out. So No, probably not. I did not feel comfortable doing that that. is So rammed all the way really down. left with a couple other options, and they both involve the same thing, which is pushing that hook out through the skin. That's- And it was buried down in there, so going through some
Yeah.
meat, going through some skin to get that out. And I've heard people say that, you know, it's not as easy as you think, that pushing that hook out through is
I don't know
tougher
what
than
to do
you
about
think, that
that.
your skin fights
That
back.
hurts.
And it did, I'll tell
I
you.
know.
It was not as easy as I
Run it
thought it
through
was
and
going
cut
to
it
be.
off. I don't have side cutters though. Maybe.
It's beyond that. So yeah, here I am, hook buried in my hand. And you know, there's these stages that my mind went through, and it's similar to another incident that happened earlier this summer that I'll probably make a video about and talk about um, with another fishing trip that I went on vacation. But my first thing was, I look at it and it's like, crap. Okay, so that happened. Now what? And you can hear me here in the video say, I don't know what to do now. And I did. It was just that kind of shock, that shock of, wow, this happened. And again, I think probably worse for me because I had never had that happen before.
Ow. I'm trying to run it through and I can't get the tip through.
Yeah, so I had to get down to business of getting this hook out. And I was thankful I wasn't alone. It's kind of interesting because one of the guys I fished with, there are four of us total. I have my canoes, and
the
so
tip of
we
it right there.
we go 2 and 2 in the canoes. We were catching a lot of fish, and we're catching some really nice smallmouth. It was just kind of fish after fish. The other two guys were in their canoe upstream a ways fishing another hole, and apparently they were doing pretty well too on a hole that my partner Tony and I didn't do that great in. So they were upstream, and one of those two guys is a doctor. Yeah, he's a doctor. How handy to have a doctor on a fishing trip, especially when something like this happens. So it didn't do me much good though, because he was probably 45 minutes behind us, 30 minutes behind us upstream. So I messaged him, I sent a picture, and he asked if I needed help, and I said, I think we can maybe try it ourselves. And we were able to manage it without him. But yeah, after that first initial shock set in, then it's like, okay, I know what to do. We just got to do this. So then I set into pushing it through, and yeah, it's just harder than I thought. So I got the lure. This is actually, ow, see, it poked me right there. sharp hooks on these flicker shads. I'm not sponsored by Berkley. I mean, I'd love that, but throw me some free flicker shads, Berkley. I'm pimping your product here. Brand new crankbait at the time. It's missing some paint now. Northern and all the fish I caught will do that to it. But yeah, these hooks are sharp. What my real problem was, though, is, I mean, it was buried down to the corner of the shank, and if it had just been a single hook, it wouldn't have been as big of an issue. I could have just forced it up through and really leveraged it up through. But where I came into a problem was, as I tried to turn it, and at that point I finally decided to use my brain and take the flicker shad off there because I was getting hooked on the other hooks. I couldn't get it past this spot where all three of those hooks really connect there on the treble. And so I was up against kind of a roadblock there, and I couldn't force it through. So what I really had to do was I had to, and you can see right there, it's all but healed. That's a week later. Looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a sore right there because I had a flap of skin that I scratched off, but yeah, it's healed a week later. And but anyway, you're pushing it through and you're hitting that, so I had to push down on it, leverage it this way, and then force. And you can see in the video me doing this, I'm forcing down the skin here because I just couldn't. There wasn't enough real estate on the bend of that hook to really turn it and get it leveraged the way I needed to. So again, thick skin from the inside out, plus just not enough hook to deal with, made that a little harder proposition. Didn't really hurt that much. I know I said ouch. More it was just the mental ouch. It didn't hurt that bad. I do have a high pain tolerance, but more than that, it didn't hit a nerve, didn't hit a tendon, bone, anything like that. It just jammed into the fatty, meaty part of my thumb. Do you have a good pair of pliers? Because I got the barb through now. Yeah. Could almost. But eventually I did get that tip of the hook through. Eventually the tip came through, and then you've got two options after that. You cut the end of the hook off and back it out through. We didn't have good side cutters. Tony did have a nice pair of needle nose pliers that had cutters on them, which probably would have worked on these hooks. But I went the pinch the barb down route instead. So just flatten that barb out. I had to have Tony's help. Again, it was just awkward in my right hand and trying to do it with my left hand. And it was nice to have Tony right there to help me out. So he pinched that barb down, and then I popped it through. There was a little bit of resistance on the way back through, but as you can see, like I said, no worse for wear. It's fine. It never really got sore. It got a little red, just from the trauma of what we had to do with it, but never got sore. Never had any problems with it. Yeah, the key with puncture wounds a lot of time is make sure juice is flowing out both holes. Well, out the hole. In this case, it was 2 holes. And I had a little bit of blood come out, not a lot, a little bit of blood, a little bit of that healing juice come out, and yeah, just kept it clean, and I didn't even put any antibiotic or triple or anything like that on it. Just kind of let nature do its thing, and as you can see, looks good. So I think moral of the story is be prepared for anything. I said I was prepared. I'd watch videos on how to take that hook through. I'd never dealt with it in person. My mom got a hook caught in her hand when I was a little kid, when I was young, and we were fishing a farm pond. I know my dad had to deal with it once with that from a little bass, but yeah, my first experience with this, hopefully my last, probably not. Again, it took 46 years. If it takes another 46 years, I probably won't see another hook like that, but I don't know. I was prepared. A little bit of a, yeah, just a little bit of a different adventure for me. So anyway, flicker shad in the hand, no good, but sharp hooks. So, anyway, that's all I have for you today. God bless you. See you next time.